So, Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2 just finished with episode 10, and I wanted to talk about it, tell you guys my opinions, and if I think it's good. Now, my opinion, the season kind of splits into two halves. You have like the first half of the season, which is honestly really forgettable and kind of boring, and then the second half of the season, it ramps up a little bit when the that Isabella person comes in and like starts messing with Kintaro. Uh, that's like the second half, and that part of the season's definitely way better. You see more monsters because like the first bit, there's the first episode where. Oh, by the way, obviously there's going to be spoilers in this of this video if you can already tell. But yeah, you see Titan X in like the first episode, and then for the rest of it, you just kind of see it like underwater. You barely see anything of this guy, and it's just like not the most entertaining stuff. And then if you finally actually get to see a lot of it, like episode 5 or something, when it kills Hiroshi, and then like it's kind of supposed to be like a heart moment with the girls and Kintaro and that. Obviously their dad and their son, all that just died. But to be honest, the guy was kind of a douchebag because there's that bit where he reads like Keiko's letter to Lee, and like that's like personal kind of business. You can't really just be reading somebody's letter like that. And so yeah, I honestly didn't feel that bad for him when he died. Like his kids, yeah, but like this story is definitely a human-led story compared to the monsters. But the humans are just really annoying, to be honest. Like Kate is like a whiny baby. Kentaro is just an idiot. Shaw and Keiko are like probably the best characters in the show, other than like the young versions of themselves. And the young like flashback bits are definitely the best part. Those bits are quite entertaining, seeing like their relationships and all that. However, the affair part that's in like episode 3 or whatever, I know it's like supposed to set up half like a lot of the story, but me personally, I don't really think that's important in a Godzilla story. And obviously, this wasn't a Godzilla focused season. That was like season 1, and then season 2 is gonna be like Kong stuff. The guy's barely in it. Like the monkey barely appears. Like he's in the first episode, and then you see snippets of him in the rest of the season, and then he only really has a main role in the last episode when he fights Titan X. And how did Titan X not get slimed out in like 5 seconds? I mean, Kong was throwing straight haymakers at this guy, and this guy just didn't. He was not going down. Like, yeah, maybe he had like the synaptic link or whatever, but there's no way that would make you survive like 5 straight just right hooks to the face from King Kong. I mean, that's pushing it a little bit. But the fights in the season were actually pretty entertaining. The one with Godzilla in like episode 7, and then the one in the one in the final episode against Kong. But low key, you see more of Godzilla in this season than you actually see Kong, which is what all the marketing was about. But yeah, I do think the show starts to pick up around episode 6, episode 7, which over half of the season's gone by, and that's definitely not good. If your show is picking up in the second half of the season and there's only 10 episodes, then that's not good enough. They should have, like, the first half should have been more entertaining. Like, the first half wasn't bad, by all means. It wasn't horrible, it wasn't bad. But it just definitely, the second half was way more entertaining, and I don't think, like, the characters were as insufferable. Like, they were still not like good. They were still not like the best characters for Kate, Kentaro, and Hiroshi. But in the second half, it's chill. And the time travel stuff is kind of weird, like how Lee's able to talk to his old self, and then like Kentaro's whole motivation is he thinks he can bring their dad back, Hiroshi, by going into the Axis Mundi place and like going to a specific point in time. I didn't really. It's really confusing. Time travel plots in movies and stuff and shows for me, they just convolute it, and it has to be done really well for it to be good. Because you have examples like in Marvel nowadays, where half of the stuff that happens in the shows don't matter anymore, or movies, because you can just be like, oh, Iron Man died. Let's just go get Iron Man from Universe 22B or whatever. So, yeah, the time travel bit was definitely not like I think the best idea the show could have gone with. I think Axis Mundi's a good idea, like time moves slowly or differently, but I don't think you should be able to have a guy in there while being out in the world simultaneously. I think that's a bad idea. And then episode 9 and episode 10, the last two episodes, they're definitely the best episodes, honestly, in the whole show, I think. The action's cool, the plot, the like revelations of like Billy's kind of like testing that he was doing while he left Hiroshi when Hiroshi was a kid. That was all like, it was quite cool, I think. Now, I'm not the most critical person ever. There's probably people in the comments that are like, well, actually, Rexer, I'll have you know this by a writing standpoint, season and all the characters, their plot points and whatever the hell it's called. It was perfect. It was 10 out of 10. But in my opinion, I just like entertainment, and I judge shows if they're good based off they're entertaining and they're not really stupid. But I do actually like at the end the bit where Lee goes to like Thailand or whatever. Now, if you haven't seen the last episode, major spoiler, click off now if you haven't seen the last episode. But he goes to Thailand and finds Rodan, and that's setting up a season 3, which I do think that season 3 should happen. But I don't know if Kate and Kintaro should be in it as much. Obviously they will. They're the main characters, but I prefer Lee and Keiko, and definitely just their story in general. I prefer it more than Kate and Kintaro. But yeah, he finds Rodan, and that's actually epic because we haven't seen Rodan. I don't think we've seen Rodan in any Godzilla media, or at least movie or show, for like 7 years. Like, that's way too long to not have Rodan, which is like one of Godzilla's best buds, bro. Like, he's up there with Anguirus. Anyway, that's like my thought on Monarch Legacy Monsters Season 2. Now, I think I've started this like review kind of series on YouTube. If you guys enjoy it, drop a like and a comment. What other stuff do you want me to talk about? I'm thinking about talking about The Boys Season 5 when that finishes, because I've been really enjoying that. But yeah, like and subscribe. Oh, and by the way, at 100 subs, I will be doing a left hand reveal, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next one.